Everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. If you follow Intuitive Safety Solutions LinkedIn page, hopefully you do. If not, please subscribe and follow us. You're going to get a lot of really good content there. The What's Up Wednesdays are posted there. Every month we post a What's Your Why webcast where I interview somebody. And then weekly we have postings sharing tips, sharing um, polls, all kinds of different things. And recently, we conducted a poll on near miss reporting. And we kind of asked the question of whether or not near miss reporting is promoted and effective on your sites. And amazingly, roughly 84% of the respondents said, no, it's not. It's not effective. So, we're doing a follow-up, which may actually air before this What's Up Wednesday, but to kind of find out why people think that near miss reporting is not really effective and not promoted. But before I kind of dive into some of the reasons behind that, I want to dive into what we always have referred to as the injury or the accident triangle. And if I go back to when I was in college in the early 90s, I know we talked a lot about Heinrich. And there are a lot of different variations or renditions of the pyramid. Um, but at the top is generally fatalities. And then beneath that, time loss or lost time injuries, OSHA recordables, minor injuries, first aids, near misses, etc. And again, there are a lot of variations of the triangle. But over time and during, I'd say the last, 20, 25 years, there's really been a shift in focus from lagging indicators, things that occurred, to leading indicators, things that haven't yet occurred. So, good examples of leading indicators would be unsafe behaviors, unsafe acts, unsafe conditions, near misses. These are really good indicators that there could be a first aid up to a fatality because there's the presence of different factors that can influence and affect that. And I think that in safety, we've realized that instead of just focusing on where our fatalities in the industry have occurred, where our significant injuries have occurred, we want to focus more on the behaviors that lead to those things. Now, granted, historical data plays a huge role in understanding hazards. And I think that these lagging indicators are very important, not just from a company centric standpoint, but from an industry standpoint, because it helps us understand where the recurrence is occurring. So, for example, in construction, we know that falls are the number one leading cause of death pretty much every single year. Um, and ultimately, we're going to do everything we can to influence and prevent falls from occurring by training our people accordingly. So when we kind of look at that middle, which is near miss reporting, I think that there are a lot of reasons that people don't report near misses on projects and in the workplace. And it's critical that we get people to do so. And I know that many companies actually incentivize and have reward programs around reporting. So unsafe behaviors, somebody sees somebody doing something unsafely, or in the event, maybe somebody even reports an unsafe behavior by themselves. Now, what are the inhibitors that would prevent somebody from reporting unsafe behaviors, acts, conditions, and near misses that occur? And I think it comes down to a handful of items. Number one, there's a fear of repercussion. I think that workers, and this applies to stop work authority too, workers are afraid to stop work or report something because they think that there will be a punitive action that follows that. Somebody's going to get punished, somebody's going to get fired, somebody's going to be sent home for 3 days without pay, whatever it may be. And that's a stigma within the culture that if that fear factor lies within your workforce, you have some cultural issues that you need to work on. And that probably stems from leadership and their messaging. Another reason that people won't report is because a lot of times I think workers look at near misses as minor because nothing happened. Sure, the person could have fallen, the person could have gotten crushed by something or run over, or whatever it might have been, electrocuted, but didn't. And therefore, it was minor, it wasn't serious, I'm not going to report it. If it resulted in some kind of an injury, they would, but they don't look at as being serious enough to take the time. And I think one of the things that may drive that even more is when management and leadership, when they kind of give people lip service, they nod their head and they thank them for reporting something, and then nothing comes as a result of it. There's no discussion, there's no follow-up action, nothing happens. And that, I think that motivates people not to report, because they feel like they're spending time to report something. They're putting their butt on the line, so to speak, by doing so, and then nothing is resulting from it. So what ends up happening is again, I mean, they're wasting time on a futile effort. And I think that there are a lot of other factors that may play into this as well. But ultimately, it's a really good, I want to say, exercise to run through, is to identify whether or not in the workplace near miss reporting is promoted within your workforce, or if they avoid it. And again, unsafe behaviors, unsafe conditions, etc. These can all lead to near misses. Near misses are when something bad could have happened. Somebody could have gotten backed over by a forklift, or they walked into a controlled access zone and went under red tape, as an example. These are all near misses. So ultimately, you look at the culture, find out why that's occurring, because all injuries are preventable to a significant extreme, other than, acts of God, acts of nature that aren't preventable within reason. Again, being a CSP, we're supposed to argue that every accident is preventable, but most are. And if we focus on the leading indicators, we focus on the inputs, we can prevent and we can achieve a zero injury environment. But we really need to focus on the zero unsafe behavior environment first. So hopefully find that helpful, and we'll see you next Wednesday.